So recently I did an unboxing video of the LaMetric Time smart clock, and in today's video I want to do a more in-depth video showing what it can do and the features that it has. So as you can see at the moment it's showing my YouTube subscriber count. That's just one of the apps that it's got, so you can see in the app, if I go to the actual clock itself, it then shows all of the apps what are currently installed on it. So for example, if I click on the clock, it'll actually change to show the clock, or I can go to the weather, or I can go to my Twitter follow account, or you can see I've just gained a Twitter follower there, so it's just made a sound to indicate that. So for example, if I go into the clock settings just by double tapping on it, you can see I've got multiple different options. So I've got the option for an automatic time zone. I can also go into alarms and set an alarm, and as you'll hear in a second, if I go into edit, it's actually got multiple different sounds. And there's much more in there. You can also go down and change the time format, so you can have it in 24 hours, or say you don't want any seconds on it, you don't want the colon to flash, you can change all that stuff in there. You can also have it show the day of the week along the bottom, so you can see the lines indicate the days of the week. So there's 7 on there, there's 7 days in a week, so you can see the last one would indicate that it's Sunday. And then I've also got the first day of the week, so that'll obviously indicate where the first day of the week is for it to correspond to the correct line across the bottom. And then if you go back, you've also got the option to show the date, so you can just have the date on there if you want, or you can have it cycle through both of them. You can also put an hourly chime on it as well, so there's many options in there. I've also got the weather, so inside of the weather settings you've got the option for auto detect location. If you turn that off, you can pick your own location rather than it automatically detecting it. You've also got the option to show the wind speed, humidity, pressure and visibility. So obviously you can control whether you want those to show up or not. Then you can choose the measurements for those options. So if you want Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, you can change that. And you can change how the other ones are displayed as well. And then for the weather app as well, you can see at the moment it's showing the temperature. It will actually automatically cycle through the 4 different options that it can show. So if you press on the action button, you can then go to either tomorrow's forecast or the forecast for now, and it'll automatically cycle through. You can then use the arrow buttons on the top to go between all of your different apps. So for example, this one is the message board, where you can put anything that you want on it. So if I go into messages, you can see all the preset ones that are there when you buy the clock, plus one that I've added. And then you've also got many different icons that you can show towards the left of the screen on the clock. So if you wanted a rainbow just to demonstrate the colours that this device can actually show, then you can set that up in there. And as you can see, now it's showing a rainbow square on there. And then from there, you can go into the next app, either by pressing the buttons on the clock or pressing it on your phone. In the radio section, you've got the preset stations that they've added, so they all show up in there. You can then press play and it'll actually begin to play that station. You can also press and hold the action button, which is the button in the middle, and it'll switch between Spotify and also an option to stream directly from your phone via Bluetooth. So they are all options that you can use on this device. The speakers aren't great, but they're not horrific either. I've got a Mac Mini and they are much better than the speakers on that Mac Mini, so you can use it as a Bluetooth speaker. You can also go into the stopwatch app and then press the button to start the stopwatch, and you can also again control that remotely from your phone, so you can pause it, continue it, reset it. You can set it to show 70 seconds as well if you want. You can also go into the timer and obviously start the timer from the clock itself. And of course on the app you can do the same thing. You can set how many hours you want, how many minutes you want, and how many seconds you want, and then play it from here. And then the thing that you might be most interested in is the subscriber count and the Twitter follower count, which is the main reason why I bought this clock. So if I go into subscriber counter, you'll see it shows that I have 557 subscribers. If I go into that, you can see you can go into the channel section, search for any channel that you want. So say if I wanted to show Apple on there, you could do that. Choose the Apple channel, go back, and it'll show the amount of subscribers that that channel has. You can also have it show the title of the channel, and then basically as it goes to that app, when it pops up, it'll show the name of the channel, and then it'll go straight to the subscriber count that they've currently got. You've also got the option to notify when you gain or lose a subscriber. So at the moment, I'm just going to change this back to me. So if I were to gain a subscriber, at the moment, it'll make this sound. And if I lose a subscriber, it makes this sound. So they are both very good options for this particular app. And then you've got the Twitter app as well, which shows how many Twitter followers you've got. So you can then choose the account just like you can with the YouTube one. And the good thing is about either of these apps is that you don't actually need to sign into your account, because the subscriber count and follower count is publicly available information. So you don't need to sign in to get that information. Again, you can have it show the name of the account. So it'll show your name on there. And bear in mind that it isn't actually flashing. That's just how my phone is recording it. You can also have it show the follower name. So whoever last followed you, you can have it show that name. Again, you can have it abbreviate the numbers if you want. You can also choose a logo to put on the left. So as you can see, if I go into this at the top, there are many different categories I can choose. If I wanted a game logo, you've got many in there. You then put those directly onto that app and it'll show on the left. So you've also got a few games that you can add. So for example, you've got Snake. So you press on the start button and then you can actually move it around like that. And that's how it'll work on there if you try and play it on there. And then it shows you a high score on there. As you can see, I've not played it. And then if you go to the bottom, you've also got the option for the market, which is where you can download even more apps onto this clock. So I will, for now, just put it back onto the clock face. So you can see these are the main apps that are on the home screen, but you can go into apps and then you've got multiple different categories. So if you go into social, that is where the subscriber count and the Twitter follower count is. And then there are many different apps. So I'll just go through a few of them here so that you can see them. There's many different options. You can also link IFTTT to it, so you can have it so when you press a button, it'll control the smart lights in your house, which is very clever. I haven't got around to setting that up yet. There's many options in there. There's also an entertainment category with a few things in there, and you can just hear there that the hour chime just went off for the time. So that is the marketplace. The other thing that you can do is you can actually reorder these apps, so they'll be in a different order. So if I put that one in the middle, it'll now be weather before the clock. So I will move that back to the beginning. And then if you want to delete an app, you can just hold it down, drag it up to the top, let go, and it will delete that app. Across the bottom, you can see it is set to manual at the moment, which means you will have to manually change the app through the app on the phone or the clock itself. You can have it automatically cycle through by swiping on this. You can then set up a schedule, so you can have a certain app show between a certain time. You can see there, if I add a new schedule, I can say show the weather at 5:30 on a Thursday only, if that's something that you wanted. You can add that and it will go straight to that app on that day. So that's something that you can look into. You can also go across the bottom again and choose auto scroll, and it will automatically scroll between all of the apps on the clock all by itself. So that is an option that you can do. You can see here the ones with the little line through the eye next to each icon means that that app isn't set to show up as it scrolls through. So when it's automatically scrolling, it will skip those. So when it gets to message board, it'll go straight to YouTube. So you can also hold on these, and then you have multiple different options across the bottom. So you can see I've got an eye with a line, which means it'll hide it. I've also got an eye without a line, which means it'll unhide it. And then you've got an eye with a 2x and a 3x. So that is basically the duration that you can have the app show up for. So if I wanted the timer to show up for a bit longer than the others, I can put it on 3x and it'll update that, and that will now show for a longer period of time. You can also go into the phone section and you'll see you've got the Bluetooth speaker option in there as well as in the radio app like I showed before. You can also go into notifications and you can actually pair your phone to this clock and it'll show notifications and phone calls on this clock. The other option with that is that you can set it to only show notifications from certain apps, if that's what you want. So at the minute, I've only got it set to show phone calls. You can also change the notification sound for this. So if I get a phone call, it will repeatedly make that sound. You can also go into the More section, and then you can link Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, Home Assistant, IFTTT, and Slack to it as well. You can see it's actually cycling through the different apps now by itself. And you can see in the settings section, you've also got a brightness option, so you can actually turn down the brightness and then turn it up to whatever level you want. The reason it's not letting me go past this level here is because I'm powering it through my Mac Mini, so it's not actually giving enough power. So that's a little tip for you. You can actually power it through a computer. It is just a 5-volt power supply, not 12 volt, so most computers can power it. And you've also got auto brightness, so it'll manage the brightness by itself. Then you've got the screensaver option, which is very useful. So at the moment, I've got this configured so that if it's dark, it will automatically trigger the screensaver. So if I turn off my lights and turn down my phone screen so that you can still see it, you'll see in a few seconds that the clock will actually turn itself to a lower brightness. So you can see there, it has just changed to a lower brightness. So I will turn the lights back on. But what it does, it shows a really dim clock that is just a plain digital clock with the hour and the minutes. And it's dim so it doesn't distract you during the night. So the idea is you go to sleep, it's not going to blind you. You can have it on your bedside table, you turn your lights back on, and everything goes back to how it was with its auto scrolling or whatever you've got it set up as. You can see you can have it activate when it's dark or on a time-based schedule. You can also choose what it does if you just want it to totally turn off or you want a dim clock. That is entirely up to you. You've also got the text style. So if you've got any scrolling text on it, then you can actually choose how it'll scroll. So that's some more options that you've got. So that'll affect the message board. If you put a longer sentence on it, it'll scroll through. I'm not going to show that because the frame rate messes up with my phone's camera and it won't show it properly. You can also change the volume level. And there are also some buttons on the side which do the same thing. So you can see there that is controlling the volume. So that'll be for your notifications, the hour chimes, when you gain a YouTube subscriber, anything like that. You can also change the Wi-Fi network in here and see the IP address that it's on and what connection strength it's got. And then the bottom ones aren't too interesting. You can change the time zone, check for software updates, see specific information about the device. That's about it for there. So that's a basic overview of the LaMetric time clock and the things that you can do with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.